One thing that I almost forgot in the last few weeks is the technique that I call recycling audio. Now this basically means that we use or reuse sounds that are already inside the track and make something new out of it, right? So we recycle the sound. So for this video I wanted to share two simple techniques in more like a jam style video on how to turn sounds like a synth sound into texture or kind of filler sounds so the arrangement stays fresh and juicy, interesting without searching for any synth presets or using complicated routing or tools and whatnot, right? Sounds good to you? Let's jump in. Hey friends, Solon here from roughingstudio.com, where I inspire you on a weekly basis with fresh Rominimal Ableton live content to hopefully keep you motivated to stay on track with the production game and hopefully spark some fresh inspiration. Now, if you need some inspiration for your kicks to kickstart a new project very quickly, the kick, in my opinion, plays a big role because even a kick can determine the vibe of a whole track. So if you want a darker vibe track, maybe you opt in for a more longer, deeper kind of kick without that much click on top of the kick itself. This makes sense. Anyway, so if you want a simple but straightforward Ableton Live kick template, I got something for you, which is for free, my soft but snappy Rominimal Ableton Live kick template. So if you're interested in that, you get it for free. Just click the link below this video and then you get it shipped to your inbox, and hopefully you like it and hopefully it inspires you. Now let's go over to do today's video and see what we can do with some sounds that are already inside our arrangement and make something new out of it, so we don't need to rely on synths only or presets and whatnot. So let's jump in and hopefully it inspires. Okay, so what I want to talk about in this video is about actually reusing the sounds that are already inside your track, to develop the track, to arrange it without adding too many other elements. I want to start with this particular sound here. So I jammed this one out, right? Context quickly. And so on. Anyway, so what I did was grabbing this sound here and then basically used a small section, I guess it was this one, and then simply sliced it to a new MIDI track, right? And then I got these slices here. And I was actually really lazy for this fill here because I thought I need kind of a one-time effect here. And I use this just once, right? So it's kind of what I call ear candy, stuff that happens just once in a track to serve as a surprise somehow. But that's actually not what I wanted to talk about. It was just a happy accident. Now, what I did was actually using snippets of this of one slice of that. Basically, I took one slice and then dropped it into a new channel, and smacked it with different effects to create something new. And I used the Gen Step 16, which is a self-generating sequencer, right? So it evolves over time. And I did this a couple of times and then recorded it to audio, printed it to audio, simply jammed and let that Gen Step do its work. And this is what I ended up with. Right? Now in context without this track. Without. So this gives extra drive and build up a little bit, I think. The groove. Without it. Without. It's just not so much fun without that sound, right? And this was a resampled from a snippet, right? Now let's see how we can do such things. Okay, again, I used a small snippet here, for example, like this one. And now let's mute for a second all the processing from this particular sound. I created actually a different one. I don't have the MIDI anymore from that recording here, but I think it's an adaptation from this one. It doesn't really matter in the end, just the concept matters, so you can adapt it. Okay, first step, again, choose a snippet from a recording or a jam or whatnot. Basically just the sound, it doesn't really matter. A sound source, we need a sound source first, and then I sliced it so I get little snippets, but yeah, in the end all I was doing was searching for a sound that I liked inside the snippet. So I dropped it to a new MIDI channel and then generating MIDI notes with this Gen Step. And this one is a new sound. Just some texture, background texture, whatever. That dabbles around a little bit in the background. So it sounds like this without that. It's very subtle, just to support this guy here. Yeah, and how I made this finally. Okay, going back to the sound, and now let's mute all the processing here. So this was the bare sound here. Does this sound interesting? Man, this is like shit, right? Let's pull this up a little bit so you can hear it better. So boring, right? Now, the first thing I used was a chord. Make it a little bit more interesting sounding, and I just went random, I have no idea. just by ear. And then the rest of the processing, let's just for the sake of showing you this to make a quick A and B, how the overall sound changes is like this. Now what we could do is we could even resample this sound, right? Sounds interesting. I can clap. I think I want to minimize that. I don't like that. And so on, right? I hope you get the idea. So let's jam a little bit here. I'm in the mood for jamming. Pitch it down a little bit. I want stuff to be a little bit more dark. How about that? Could work maybe, right? Just we'll need to really like this part here. Maybe actually would duplicate that, and then I would crop the sample. Right? Let's see if it works with the rest, maybe with the drums, if it stays in sync. I have no idea, I'm just jamming right now. Could work, maybe. This leads me to the second technique. Okay, first one is really resampling. Resampling, take a snippet and then mangle that shit like crazy with all kinds of effects. If you're wondering what I have running on this particular channel here, first chord, then I have a drum bass. Let's go quickly through this. Sorry. So I use decay here with the LFO, and yeah, to shorten the decay a little bit, right? And then the second thing, that's an interesting one I found, is this MWaveshaper. With that thing, you can really shape the sound of a sound source, as you could hear while I was jamming, right? If we would just automate that, that could also sound very interesting in my ears. Can you hear that fly? There's a fly running, flying around in my around my head. Okay, that's that thing. Can you hear that? I'm very sorry, man. Where is it? Hey, fly. Okay, then EQ to cut some lows, then phaser. Then a gate, using a hi-hat as a sidechain. So I can shape, yeah, a little bit of the sound. Grain delay, chorus. Frequency shifter and loop operator. Yeah, I don't like that particular sound here that it just created, but yeah, basically mangle that shit and then record it, then resample it, and then simply yeah, use it, pitch it down, whatever, and then maybe again adding more effects to that resampled sound. There are endless possibilities to this, right? So the second way to actually reuse sounds, again, we used a snippet from a previously recorded jam, and that one is the snippet, right? Kind of like that. I might would EQ that. Something like that, maybe. Okay. Now we have a certain sound here, and the second technique, really simple. I would actually search for a rhythm within the rhythm. So basically I would crop sample, and now what I would do is searching for something that grooves, right? Okay, so basically we have both the same sounds. What I will now try is changing the playback a little bit. Let's see if we can hands-on create something that fits. That could work maybe. Maybe an echo. Sorry that I don't talk, I'm just in flow. Let's jam a little bit. Let's resample the group. yeah, hope you get the idea. Basically, I just use something and then I play around with those length of the and position of the loop bracket, and then again following the same process, going crazy with the effects and just experimenting, and then we finally end up with something like that. Does this sound interesting? Man, this is like shit, right? Let's pull this up a little bit so you can hear it better. So boring, right? So we get quite unique results. Okay, to sum it up again, recycling techniques. Number one is really cut out one piece of a gem or whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. Something that is already inside the track, something that is already in the track, and then yeah, load it into a sampler, and then go from there. Smack it with all kind of effects. Maybe use chord, chain step to make evolving sounds maybe, and then tweak and record again, resampling it, and then yeah, and then if you want add another set of effects and whatnot, and with that we have still the foundation is still from within the track, right? So it's not something completely new, so it most likely would fit into the track still. It's not completely something that is outer space. I mean, if you want that, that's no problem. I mean, there are no rules. That's the beauty about music creation, about creativity, right? Um, but for this topic here, yeah, going crazy with the facts, really crazy if you want. I recommend actually because always when we go crazy, I found we've more likely find to get good results or results that we desire, right? What is good, what is bad? I don't know. Yeah, and then the second one, as soon as you have something, maybe you can play around with the brackets, the playback brackets. It doesn't need to be always the length of 4 or 8 bar loop or whatever, 32 bar loop, whatever. It can be shorter, right? It can offbeat, and sometimes this can lead to interesting grooves and whatnot. And yeah, again, maybe stuff like phaser, echo, um, yeah, chorus, whatnot. Those are all great stuff that always work. And for sound design, maybe I would recommend this Melda production MWaveshaper. You can really shape the sound. I think it's a distortion plugin, but it's for free from Melda. You can simply download it on the homepage and get hopefully great sounding results. Yeah, that's it for this week. Again, if you need a kick preset to kick things off, to kick off your productions, to your next track, I have a software snappy Ableton Live kick template ready for you to download. If you want that, go and grab it under the link below. Thanks again for your time. Have fun while experimenting. Hope to see you next week. Cheers. Bye bye.